When assembling the classic Game Room Intergalactic Space Arcade, I put a lot of thought into what games would appear behind me. I chose Black Hole because it's a pinball machine I like to play with my dad. I chose Centipede because it's one of my favorite arcade machines and has beautiful artwork on the side. I chose Rolling Thunder because I like the game and I found it really cheap. But I chose Frenzy because it's in the movie Code of Silence with Chuck Norris. He walks by one in a bar. Chuck Norris approves of this game, which means that you approve of this game.
And that's a true story. The only time I've ever played Frenzy prior to getting this arcade machine was on the ColecoVision. In fact, I never really thought about the Frenzy arcade machine until I was watching Code of Silence one night on TV and saw the scene where Chuck Norris walks right by a Frenzy arcade game in a bar. And it just struck me as being a cool game. Like, there's the Frenzy arcade game. I love it on the ColecoVision, but I've never actually seen it, and here it is in a Chuck Norris movie. Must have. Now that game I'm playing there goes on to be my high-score game, but let's talk about Frenzy, which is the sequel, or at least the spiritual successor to Berserk, another game published by Stern. Frenzy is not as popular for whatever reasons. It's a lot harder than Berserk, and it never had the success on other game consoles like Berserk did, because Berserk is on the Atari 2600, 5200, and Vectrex, whereas Frenzy is not. It is on the ColecoVision, but not those other ones. What you do in Frenzy is pretty simple. You run around and shoot robots while trying to avoid your own doom. The controls are exactly like they are in Berserk. You can only fire in the direction that you're moving. So don't think you have Robotron controls in here. Oh no! It was Berserk that inspired the Robotron controls, because Eugene Jarvis thought he could do better. And he did. But I think this game is better than Berserk. It's more interesting after you play it for a while. You can fire through some of the walls and bounce your laser shots off others. And there's always that critical moment at the beginning of each round when it spawns you in the middle of total chaos.
Compared to a lot of other arcade machines like Centipede, Frenzy does not have the most exciting cabinet design out there, but it's Frenzy. How often do you run across a Frenzy machine? When you do, you have to play it. It is hard to miss. It screams Frenzy.
But do expect to lose all of your quarters. Frenzy is made to kick your ass. And while it looks nice from the front, the side art is awful and doesn't even represent the game. You might want to surround this machine with a Centipede and Robotron.
Robot attack.
Aha! Take that, Evil Otto. I think that's Evil Otto. You can shoot him in this game and score some extra points, but then he comes out really angry and really fast, so I recommend just doing that once and getting the hell off the level. Frequently getting a great score in this game depends on your luck when starting levels. Sometimes Frenzy surrounds you with no hope, other times it gives you a little bit of breathing room. And of course, there's that special joy that you get when all of the robots end up shooting themselves. Frenzy's tough, and if you're out in the open too long, you'll get hit, so it's nice to find a hiding spot, but pay attention to the mirrored walls, which can help and hurt you at the same time. In a way, Frenzy could have been called something else. It could have been called Frantic, because that's what it feels like when you're playing Frenzy. The games are short, fast, and ferocious, the complete opposite of games that take 100 hours of gameplay to level up and complete a storyline. And that's why I like Frenzy. I can play 4 or 5 games in a row in between something else, have a great time, and move on to the next one. It's a terrific arcade game that has subtle improvements that make it just a bit better than Berserk. Sadly, it never got the attention it really deserved, except in Code of Silence. How many games can say they were featured in a Chuck Norris movie? Anyway, it goes without saying, if you see one of these, you play it. If you're building a game room, Frenzy machines aren't terribly common, but they're also not rare and overpriced. Unlike my Centipede machine, I did not replace the screen in Frenzy. It has the old school CRT monitor, which looks really good. Now I'm going to run away from that bouncing, smiling thing and get off this level. It's Frenzy, an underrated classic, worthy of being made into a movie with Chuck Norris called Code of Frenzy.